everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. It's Danny with Wire Fitness. Another long drive, but I wanted to shoot out a video as kind of the capstone to the 3 little mini-series video fat loss thing that I've done. And in this video, I want to talk about intermittent fasting, the benefits of intermittent fasting, how I use it in my life, what the structure looks like, and how you can use it in yours. This is by far and above the best, most effective method to lean down and lose fat, increase your mental health, your physical health, and provide you long-term health benefits as well. It's an extraordinary method to use. It's very simple. It's very easy to do, despite what the label may seem like. So intermittent fasting, most of the time when people hear the word fasting, they run and hide. They run for the hills and get the hell out, because they think of, for me, I used to, anytime I heard fasting, I thought of like 20-hour, 24-hour, 48-hour fasts, or I used to picture Gandhi in my mind and how I did not want to look like Gandhi. No offense, Gandhi, but that's not the case. That's not what intermittent fasting is. Intermittent fasting kind of breaks the mold of traditional fasting of 24, 48 hours, or some longer than that. It's a shortened down version of it. It allows you to reap the benefits of fasting while still getting your daily calorie and carbohydrate, protein, fat needs, nutrient needs every day. So how the intermittent fasting structure looks like, if you already know what it is, great. If you don't, here's a 25-cent tool. Intermittent fasting, how I use it and what I recommend to do, there's different levels of it. There's 4 or 5 different methods. The 2 that I do or would recommend are either a 15 or 16-hour fast, all the way up to maybe 18, 19, at the most 20 hours. Because after you hit that 20-hour period, it starts to become less enjoyable. You start to really get uncomfortable at the 21 hour mark. And the point of Wire Fitness is to fit these methods into your life seamlessly and effortlessly. So if it becomes a real burden at the 20-hour mark and you're really pushing it, I would just eat and eat. But 15, 16, 17, 18 hours is pretty easy. I do it every day now. And don't think about it, and I feel fantastic. I feel amazing. So like I said, between a 15, 16, 18 hour fast. So what that looks like time-wise, if you eat dinner at, let's just say you eat, to make it easy, a 16-hour fast, you eat dinner, your last meal is at 8 o'clock. On a 16, you wouldn't eat again until noon the next day. On an 18-hour fast, it'd be 2 o'clock. Obviously, the times are going to differ a little, so if you eat dinner at 6 o'clock, if you like to eat early, then you wouldn't eat again on a 16-hour fast until 10 the next day, and then on an 18-hour, it would be noon. Sometimes some people eat later, you just push it later into the day. But the whole premise of it, and how I use it, is I typically do between 16 and 18 hours. I like that little window. It's comfortable for me. But I just try to push my first meal back into the day. That's the whole idea. So now that structure is kind of in your mind, and it's not a mystery anymore, and for those of you who knew what it was, that last minute may have been boring. Now on to the benefits of it. There's 4 or 5 key benefits for intermittent fasting, the most obvious of which is pushing your first meal farther into the day makes it much harder to eat at a calorie surplus. So if you think about it, if you're only eating in a 6, 7, 8 hour window, instead of eating all day and consuming calories in a 16-hour window or 15-hour window, you're almost cutting it in half, realistically. So it's much harder to eat in a calorie surplus in that short period of time, because you're cutting your meals down. It's very simple math. The second benefit, which is another good one, is it increases your insulin sensitivity. So I talked about insulin a little bit in my first video about fat loss and how the science behind effective fat loss works. But by increasing your insulin sensitivity, it does 2 things. One, your body starts to change and starts to morph into reaching into your for energy sufficiently and sustainably. Instead of only doing it certain periods, it starts to, when you increase your insulin sensitivity, it starts to do it over long periods of time. You'll feel sharper more often. You'll feel more energy more often. You'll sleep sounder at night. There's tons of benefits to having increased insulin sensitivity. Second benefit of that sensitivity increase is it helps to fight type 2 diabetes. So when your insulin sensitivity is juiced up, your body will not, it'll react differently to insulin. So instead of having prolonged periods where there's tons of insulin in your blood and your body start to decrease its sensitivity, which promotes or increases your chances of getting type 2 diabetes, it's the exact opposite. Your sensitivity goes through the roof, so your chances of getting type 2 diabetes go drastically downhill. Another major benefit, so this will be the third major benefit. The first two were obviously your calorie intake will get cut naturally without thinking about it, and two, your increased insulin sensitivity. The third one is it increases your human growth hormone production naturally. So what that does, several things. One, human growth hormone is an excellent anti-aging hormone. So it'll increase your skin health, it'll increase your joint health. So it is a myth, it is a 100% myth that when you get older, you just have to deal with joint pain and you have to take medication and you have to get arthritis. That's not true. If you experience periods of prolonged human growth hormone production that's increased, you will not only feel better and you'll carry lean muscle mass a lot heavier, or not heavier, you'll carry it a lot easier, and you'll just look better naturally for longer. You'll experience much less joint pain when you're older. Another, like I just mentioned, the lean muscle mass, but HGH, it has a bad connotation. People think you take HGH, you're on steroids. Your body naturally produces it, so when you up your natural production, and it will taper off over time if you naturally, it just does. So if you increase your natural production of it, you're gonna, like I mentioned before, find it a lot easier to carry lean muscle mass and keep it. Your body won't start to dig into your muscle for energy later and deteriorate it and make it tougher to keep it. If you increase your HGH, your body will leave that muscle alone and you'll carry it for longer, more efficiently. The fourth benefit, and this is another one that doesn't necessarily get talked about all the time, is in the morning, your cortisol levels and more importantly, your testosterone levels naturally are higher in the morning. So when you do not, they're higher in the morning, but right after you eat, they plummet. And then they kind of build back up and then they plummet. But they'll taper off over the course of the day, but immediately after you eat, they go way down. So in the morning, it defeats the purpose of having and taking advantage of elevated testosterone levels in the morning if you just eat first thing when you wake up, because they're high for an hour and then they go straight down. If you fast in the morning and experience, a 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 hour fast after waking, you have that prolonged period where nothing's going to affect your natural testosterone levels except for time. So you'll experience heightened testosterone for longer, which means you'll be a lot sharper mentally if you work out in the morning, and you don't have to eat right away. If you're working out early in the morning, your workouts will be better. The effects of your workouts will be better due to that natural testosterone production, and you'll just feel better up until you eat. It's also the fifth benefit. Recap. Naturally, your calorie intake will get cut. Just simple math. 2, it increases your insulin sensitivity. It increases your third one, which is your human growth hormone production naturally. And 4, you get to take advantage of your heightened testosterone levels in the morning. The fifth benefit is it sets you up for an excellent anabolic rebound when you get out of, or when you eat your first meal. Because by the end of your intermittent fasting period, whether it's 15 hours, whether it's 18 hours, you're extremely anabolic, and your body is extremely receptive to the nutrients you're about to give it. So when you do eat, your body will act more like a sponge than if you're constantly, you're on this constant nutrient cycle, and you're just at a surplus all the time in your body. Because contrary to popular belief, it takes a long time to process your nutrients. For protein, for example, people think you got to pump your body full of protein. Not necessarily. If you eat 50 grams of protein in a sitting, it's going to take a while for your body to process that. It processes with all the fiber and the fats that you eat about 5 grams per hour. So your body's going to be processing that protein. This is your average protein. There are fast acting and slow acting, but on a good average, about 5 grams an hour. That's going to take a long time to process. So you don't have to be constantly giving it protein. So when, like I said before, when you get to that anabolic state and you're there for a while with the heightened testosterone, the HGH, the cortisol levels, and you're sharper, and you eat that first meal, it's much more, one, it's much more enjoyable, and two, it's much more effective and efficient for your body. So those are the 5 keys, the 5 key advantages to intermittent fasting. Give you a little recap. Intermittent fasting, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's creating a 15 to 18 hour fasting window. And the 5 keys of doing it, especially keeping it fasted in the morning, that's when I would definitely recommend doing it. Naturally cut your calories down. Your human growth hormone level naturally is boosted. You increase dramatically your insulin sensitivity. The 4th one, or one of them, 5, is you set yourself up for an excellent anabolic rebound when you do eat, and your body will absorb and process and use those nutrients a heck of a lot better. And then 5, you experience the increased cortisol and testosterone levels in the morning without having them plummet eating. Your body gets to experience it and use it, which will help you burn fat and keep on lean muscle and keep you sharper and more mentally focused. This is the method that I've used. I've used it for a while. I've experienced extremely good results. I feel excellent all the time. I don't have crashes. I don't have any. I feel amazing all the time. And I would never go back to eating 3 meals a day or 4 meals a day every day. I have more freedom. I just feel sharper than I ever have. It's awesome. Now, when I started, the first couple days, it wasn't what I thought it was. I thought I was going to die the first couple of days before I started. And then when I did, it was a little bit, I got hungry faster because I was so used to eating all the time. But, 3-4 days into it, didn't even have to think about it anymore. Now, starting one deal, if you're going to start intermittent fasting, I recommend doing a 12 or 13 hour fast and then eating an apple and then doing the other 3 hours. Because when you feel hungry, that's just your body is so used to having excess liver glycogen. You need to restore it to have your body adapt after that 3 or 4 days. That's what your body's telling you it needs liver glycogen. That apple will sustain you for the next 2 or 3 hours to complete your fast. You technically broke the fast, but you're able to still experience the calorie deficit and some of the other benefits associated with fasting, just eating an apple or a banana or a pear or something, just a piece of fruit. Give you that little sugar glycogen boost. And that will help you easily incorporate it into your life, which is kind of the point of this whole channel, is to give you information to easily incorporate fitness into your life. But yeah, so I didn't really struggle a lot with it when I first did it. 3 or 4 days maybe, I had an apple at 8 or 9, maybe 9 in the morning, and then I made it to noon or 1 o'clock and 8, and it was great. And then now I don't even need to do that. I don't even think about it. It just naturally happens. And I've experienced, I'm sharper a lot, I get more done. It's just, the health benefits are extraordinary. If you did like this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It helps me get some of the message out to everybody that's either on Facebook or Instagram or surfing on YouTube. It helps me promote the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you did it. If you have any questions about intermittent fasting or anything that I talked about in this video, you want more science behind it, whatever, comment below. I'll also have my email in the description, so you can shoot me any questions. But I hope you were able to take something away from this video, and I encourage you to try it for 2 weeks. If you hate it after 2 weeks, go back to what you normally were doing. But I strongly believe that if you do it for the 2 weeks and you realize the benefits of it and you feel better, you're not going to want to go back to eating the normal 3, 4, 5 meals a day and spending so much time thinking about food. You'll enjoy the freedom and the benefits of it. But
But yeah, again, if you liked it,
hit subscribe, hit like,
and look forward
to talking to you guys again soon, and thanks for tuning in.